Eagle, Laporte County's original social media. Sound Off is a public interest forum that encourages your voice to be heard on the topics and issues impacting our local communities. For the next 30 minutes, we invite you to be part of the conversation by calling 219-362-0522. And you can now text your questions to the Liquor Vault on-air line or by email to soundoff@967theeagle.com. This is a topic-based program, and we ask that you keep your comments brief, concise, and related to the topic being discussed. The views expressed on Sound Off are those of the hosts or callers and do not represent the opinion of 96.7 The Eagle, Spoon River Media LLC, or the sponsors. The Liquor Vault on-air line is now open for your calls or texts at 219-362-0522. This is Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Hello, friends. Today is July 11th, and you are listening to Sound Off only on 96.7 The Eagle. My name is Nate Laux, and it's good to have you with us. Sound Off is a radio program that we air every Monday and Friday live that hopefully gives you, our listeners here in Laporte County and beyond, access to people who are doing great things, whether it's politicians or nonprofit or civic leaders. We want you to have access to them so that you can ask the questions that they need to answer. Today is no different. In the studio in our monthly foray to talk about what's happening in the city of LaPorte is City of LaPorte Mayor Tom Dermody. How are you, Tommy?
Oh, it's fantastic. Actually, a little relaxed today because you come off of 4th of July, the capital of Indiana, which LaPorte is, a wonderful parade. And may I add how cool it was. The town was packed, yet everybody cleaned up after the parade. They understand spotless, and everybody's got pride in our community, and the cleanup was amazing. Thank you to Dawn, Joy Ziegler, Drum Osborne, the entire Kiwanis team for helping out. Then you roll right into Taco Fest Friday.
I heard that was a great turnout. I'm
sorry to the public for waiting for an hour for tacos, but Brett Benversity crushed it this past Friday, and it was a great event. And then you roll right into the fair, and I must say I got to give credit to the fair board, I think, who's doing it, the county. The fair buildings, just the whole atmosphere looks fresh, and the sign is amazing. And I was like, oh man, how do we've looked at new signage and so forth, but the fair, congratulations to everybody because it just looks new, fresh, and a place to be. So we're pushing all city employees, city residents, get out, support the fair, the 4-H kids everywhere, and it's going to be a great week.
Now, today on Hometown News Now, we posted a story. It was written actually on Saturday by our very own Liam Hobbs about John Boyd's last parade as the sheriff. And did you? I don't know if you saw that article. Did you get a little jealous?
You know, I love John Boyd. I love the sheriff. I thought when I first heard he was doing the horse, I thought that he was following behind the horse doing the cleanup. So I misunderstood.
It's an honest mistake. Yeah.
Yes, but John, well-deserved. He's been a great sheriff for us, and we wish him well. I'll say that publicly. Privately, we're all digging him. All the Kingsbury King graduates, that class that graduated together, we like to give him grief, but yeah, we're fortunate to have him.
All right, let's get into some things happening here in LaPorte. I want to get into economic development first. What's going on in Newport Landing? We've got a couple things that are getting built, including the world's longest 7-Eleven construction. I think we are now in the Guinness Book of World Records for that. We've got an Aldi that seems like every time I blink, there's something else that's coming in there. We've got something else there by Starbucks. What is that one?
Smoothie King.
That's
really?
Right. So, yeah.
Really?
All right, hold on. These are questions that we ask every Tuesday or every other Tuesday.
Yeah,
Would you like me to answer that for you, Mayor?
We got
Please,
listeners.
Dennis, you listen.
Thanks.
Hey, listener. We got listeners here. So, give an update. Where are those? And why don't we have that barbecue place in across from Culver's yet?
Boy, and you know, the developers, we've been on them to say, hey, and I know costs have been going up. And so they're reviewing those costs, and being in business most of my life, I get it. But hey, we want to see shovels in the ground. Let's start digging, because we, like you mentioned, we have a lot of different things. Aldi's is going up quickly. Smoothie King will be ready, I think, by this fall. So we're going to continue to grow. continue to expand.
Any movement for those of our listeners here in the city of Laporte on the west side for a grocer?
Yes.
There is movement.
Movement by us to pitching. We're pitching everywhere, but we have nobody that's coming in. And again, we had one grocer that was at one point going to cost roughly $3 million, $3.5 million to set up shop, which now cost them 6.1 roughly. And so, based on what's happening in the economy and so forth, that's a real cost, and we can't subsidize that type of fund, those type of funds, to allow them to come here. But we're going to work every day, and that is a priority for us. But I think people will find a couple miles down, Aldi's, the new fresh Aldi's, clean Aldi's. Plus, we have Don George that we've put out for bid. So get excited about that. We'll see what comes in. I think we're going to get some interesting development ideas.
All right, we've got Mayor Tom Dermody here on his monthly show for the Sound Off. If you have a question, you're welcome to call or text 219-362-0522. We'd love to hear a question from you. You can also email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. I want to get into something that happened this last week. The county commissioners met. You guys have been working on for a number of years a way to divert traffic, especially truck traffic and through traffic, away from downtown Laporte. I know there's lots of different opinions, even from our listeners on this. But the plan is to take traffic away from the city of Laporte that doesn't want to be in Laporte, obviously, these semis and things like that, and get them to where they're going, but not have to go downtown. There's been a couple different plans. I know the city of Laporte engineer Nick Minnick have worked on it. The commissioners, though, essentially being a stakeholder, because whatever this plan would be would probably go into the county at some point, released a resolution this week, effectively kind of almost killing it, not necessarily, but kind of. And the resolution essentially said they don't like the $150 to $180 million cost, and that they believe that the city can essentially do what they want to do using the infrastructure that they already have. What comments do you have on that?
Well, and first of all, some of the information is surprising that they've come out with. They haven't been engaged, and you heard them all say, we've not been involved. Yet they seem to have all this information. And Nick Minnick, our city engineer, has been working with the county planner, working to develop something that makes sense. And their concern, obviously the commissioners, about making an impact to houses, farmland. So I guess apparently at this point, no roads will ever be constructed in the county ever again. This will be it. There'll be no growth, no progress. And then one of the commissioners talking about, well, we'll have to be responsible for the state by relinquishing. You have to ask for relinquishment. There's no guarantee. And I think to this point of that they don't understand their funding for, they said they're short on funding for roads. They shouldn't take on any new relinquishment. I don't think I want them taking on any new state projects and being responsible for them with relinquishment. But again, it was just disappointing to hear that no one's come to them, yet they have a department head that's been meeting for years with our city engineer, listening to the people, listening to the county individuals, listening to city residents, because for some reason it's forgotten that our city residents deserve to have a voice too. And one of the biggest concerns is the truck traffic that barrels down our community, and our residents, our businesses deserve to have a say and a voice just as well as anybody else. And then the other thing we've asked and told Nick Minnick, if you have a concern, come see him. And that's residents, elected officials, anybody. And I just need to see where I'm hearing that this corridor is going to run over somebody's house. Come show us. Come show us that impact, because Nick Minnick has worked extremely hard, again, along with the county, to adjust, make improvements, to say it's not going to impact, and that we're splitting current farms in half. Show us what farm. Because if they've looked at the map, show us what farm that we're splitting a farmer's land with the with the proposed corridor. But the other part of that is, and again, I'm not here to argue the president, federal government, but there's a lot of money that's flowing. Why does it always have to be other communities, other counties that are competing to improve their county to compete for those dollars, and we're not going to do that? We need to compete for these dollars, but one of the important things the federal government puts out there is environmental justice, and that means low-income families should not be impacted by any of improvements to roads and so forth, and to run this right through Boyd Boulevard, right through the apartments, right through Monroe Manor. Our low-income families deserve to have a voice, too. We just can't look the other way and ram it right through them. We have to look to the future. We see what the truck traffic and automobile traffic was going to do in the years to come downtown. And we've got young families that won't even bring their families downtown because they don't want to open their doors. They're scared. They're fearful of the truck traffic. And it was kind of amazing. The guy from Channel 22, when he was interviewing us at Indiana and Lincoln Way at 11 o'clock in the morning, so not even the busy time, he was like, oh my God, how do you guys deal with all this truck traffic coming through downtown, everywhere? And he goes, this is crazy to not find an option. And then, like I said, if Kingsbury's going to happen, we want and we support the county and their development of Kingsbury. We're disappointed as much as anybody how slow it's been. But we're ready to support them. We want to be prepared, but we don't have to be reactionary. At some point, we have to be proactive. There's dollars out there that we can compete for. And if it's going to happen, you can't send trucks right through Indiana Avenue. Again, our residents deserve a voice as well.
I want to push back a little bit in
Please.
that, like the county's plan here. Again, I'm looking at the resolution right now. Says again, the solution could be. How about this? Make improvements to the surface and substructure of Boyd Boulevard without any widening or additional property required. So again, they would argue you can essentially just use the path that's on there, so you don't have to widen it to take any houses. And then secondly, make improvements to the surface and substructure of Seavers Road for truck traffic. So use Seavers Road and use Boyd Boulevard. And again, why don't you think that'll work?
Well, Seavers Road, look at how close the homes are to the road. I think
By the way, everyone on Seavers Road now is saying, well, don't use our road.
Right. Well, exactly. I said, I can't wait till I have that conversation. But a little why? I mean, you don't have the right-of-way work available to handle trucks coming east and west on Seavers. And then you'll have more impact to homes, because you can't just keep the road like it is on Boyd as you go past Monroe Manor. There's no way to handle that. You have to expand it. So when you look at impact, no homes are taken on the plan that Nick has developed and continue to develop, yet there's more impact to that plan that the county commissioner supported than there is to what Nick and the county planner are doing. So to me, that doesn't make sense, but we're willing to sit at the table always. If you want a portion of something and move it here at the $100 million, I now I've heard it's over 200 million when you listen to the commissioners. So again, we're going to be responsible, but let's compete for those dollars. We're not going to stop. We're going to still try to find ways for the truck traffic to be removed off downtown, because again, our community dies in the future if we don't make some progress and improvements. And again, if you're worried about those items, which is never easy, of making an impact, affecting homes, affecting farmland, basically right now we're set and there'll be no progress ever again.
All right, let's get to one caller and then we'll go to break. Hey, thanks so much for calling. Thanks for waiting on the line. I appreciate you listening to Sound Off. What's your question for Mayor Dermody?
Good afternoon, Mayor. Thanks for calling on the answer.
Steve Hollifield.
My question is a topic that I've brought up with you before, and I've brought up to a lot of county officials. Economic development, wonderful idea, great idea. This bypass or corridor, as you call it, generally does bring economic development. But Laporte has a long history. Just look at all the factories now, the businesses now. We lost Corsicana. I don't believe the story that was told by the county council. I believe, talking to the people that work there, They never got to a full shift. Helmet's looking for people. Almost every business in downtown has a help wanted sign. Laporte, in my opinion, historically, has a labor problem. And another example of it was when the Toyota plant over here, just across the county line, it didn't come here because there's not enough available labor. So how does that impact with no labor available for these businesses to come here? Thank you.
Thanks you. And I think part of that as well, and we haven't had population increases whenever because people see progress happening everywhere else. And we have to be willing to compete and make progress. And there are dollars out there that make things competitive, responsible as with taxpayer dollars. But the city of Laporte, the county, we all need to compete and continue to grow and improve to bring people back. And as I've said, we want to be 30 by 30. 30,000 people by 2030, and let's give an opportunity to those kids that we've educated here in Laporte, South Central, New Prairie, everywhere, and let's give them a reason to come back home, make good money, and live their best life here, raise a family, and be part of the family that they grew up with as well.
All right, well, thank you so much. We're going to take our first break of the day. We're going to get back here with Mayor Tom Dermody, who's in the studio for our Sound Off Radio show. If you have a question, you can call or text me, 219-362-0522, or it's just going to be just a couple minutes. We'll be right back here for more of the show right here on 96.7 The Eagle.
For over 50 years, Laporte has trusted Cannon's Automotive Service for prompt, efficient, same-day service. And that same Cannon's commitment extends to area businesses who rely on a fleet of one or many to take your goods or service to the customer. Whether it's the truck or trailer that needs maintained or fixed, trust Cannon's Automotive to maximize your productivity with same-day service. Now with 2 Cannon's locations, 710 Tyler Street and 909 Boyd Boulevard.
With Cannon's Automotive, we fix everything.
The Laporte County 4-H Livestock Auction is coming up on Friday, July 15th, and they invite you to attend and become a buyer this year. New this year is the buyer's breakfast at 7, followed by your registration at 8, and the auction begins at 9. And remember, it's a win-win for both you and the 4-H kids. So make plans to not only attend this year's auction, but become a buyer as well. If you've got any questions, visit lpfair.com. So what are you waiting for? Become a buyer at this year's Laporte County 4-H Animal Livestock Auction, Friday, July 15th. Hope to see you at the arena.
There's a lot of variety on the radio and at Domino's too. From pizzas and sandwiches to salads and pasta. Get a taste of variety when you place your order at your local Domino's in Laporte or Michigan City. Order online, through the app, or call into your local Domino's store. And now with Domino's new car side delivery, you can stay in your car when you place your carry-out order online at Domino's.com, and they'll carry your order to your car contact-free. Look for the 50% off car side delivery deals at Domino's.com. Join 96.7 The Eagle every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. for Calvary Baptist Church's Faith and Worship Sermons. You'll be enlightened with Pastor Tim Schreier's Words of God and music. Be sure to join us every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. for Calvary Baptist Church's Faith and Worship Sermons. If you like what you heard, be sure to join them at Calvary Baptist Church's location on Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. and Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock for worship. Calvary Baptist Church is located on I Street here in Laporte.
Your opinion matters. We invite you to share it by calling or texting the Liquor Ball on-air line at 362-0522. That's 362-0522. Now, back to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Welcome back, friends. My name's Nate Laux, and you're listening to the Sound Off Radio Show here on 96.7 The Eagle. If you have a question for our guest today, the Liquor Ball on-air line is 219-362-0522. You're welcome to call or text me. If you are streaming with us online, we will check those as well, and you can email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. There's just no excuse to not being able to get in contact with me. All right, we've got a couple questions for you, Mayor Dermody. What percentage of trucks that run through our town actually come through for our own purposes, delivery trucks, these kind of things, and what percentage are just passing through? Mostly because I believe I read some comments that believe trucks only come through for us, that all the semis, essentially, she's saying there's this narrative out there that only the semis are here to deliver things.
No, there's passing through, and again, when we had our business and trucks, we dealt heavily into getting shipments, getting in and out. And to this point, we still see many trucks that are coming from the west side through the east side, not stopping. They may be overloaded, so they want to avoid the scales in Chesterton come the back route, may want to avoid the police and come back around and move east. And then again, these 52-footers, 48-footers, they're not dropping off in downtown. They don't want to be downtown any more than we don't want them to be there. We've got a strong east side presence of manufacturing where the trucks need to get in from, American Rental It down south to the bakery companies and get them moved, get them out further east, drop off, and that would be one of the goals, not only there, but also Thomas Rose to have a stop off and boom, keep heading north.
All right, another one. Are the seats going to be replaced at the Civic before the basketball tournament comes back?
They will not be, but unfortunately, hopefully we'll sell those seats, and boy, I'd love to have one of them, but they've done their time. When we want to make them more ADA accessible, the aisles and so forth, they've more than done their purpose, and the Civic, the great work that Mark Schreiber, Brett Benversi have been doing there, it's going to last another 100 years.
So the Civic, again, let's talk a little bit about the updates there. You've got new seats. You've got, obviously, I think last year, 2 years ago, new giant fans in there to hopefully cool air a little bit. Is air conditioning coming as well?
Air conditioning, the new roof is being done very soon. Air conditioning will be bid. The seating, you've already seen the lighting, and you can already tell right now, just with the mindset of our team there and Brett Benversi, of this is an event arena that should be generating enough revenue so they don't need tax dollars. And so we've told Beechwood, hey, start generating, treat it like a business. And we've got two good teams there between Beechwood and Civic that are just doing that as we speak. With the federal dollars, ARP money, our focus is affordable housing, dealing with the Triangle, Harrison, Jefferson, Maple Ave. Will never go through again what we did when we started this administration 2.5 years ago. The drug dealing, the violent behavior, and people just living the way they did. People are going to live respectfully. We're going to have landlords that are partners in the city, and we're going to address some of that area. And as well, Dennis mentioned earlier, thank you to all the citizens that really appreciate our paving teams, getting a lot of roads done, getting sidewalks done. I think people can say we've got a lot more work to do, but you're seeing improvement.
All right, we've got Mayor Tom Dermody on the show today. Mayor Dermody is the City of Laporte mayor, obviously. If you have a question, the Liquor Vault on-air line is 219-362-0522. You're welcome to call or text us here. We've got about 20 minutes left on the show. Let's get to another caller. Hey, thanks so much for listening to the show. I appreciate you. What's your question for Mayor Dermody?
Hello, am I on?
Yeah, you're on. What's your question?
Yes. It'd be nice to get more off-street parking down by Louis and maybe by Lucky's Bar there on the west side. I agree that most of the traffic is west to east. Maybe the old Laporte Hospital would give up that corner on there for maybe 50 spots or a parking garage or something like that, or that way it ease up the traffic when you're going west to east a little bit. And it seems like the new hospital cut themselves short on parking, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, thank you very much.
I'll hang up and let you answer.
All right, thanks so much for calling.
And that's why Craig Phillips is doing this updated parking study, because I'm not a big proponent of new studies. So Craig did an excellent job of taking the past study and just updating it. And then we should have that by August. I say August, to address, to say, hey, okay, what makes sense? What do we need? What are we short?
Hey, here's a question for you, or a comment rather. They say the blue line. I assume this is in reference to a possible corridor. The blue line does run over the top of my house, literally.
And that's where I'm saying Nick Minnick has taken those three ideas and moved, improved, talked to different people. If you have a question or you'd like to sit down with him. Please sit with him, 362-2327, and he will meet with you to show you the improvements since those meetings.
You know, there's a website for the corridor. I forget what it is, and I went there because I was trying to prepare for this and everything. I don't think an updated map is on there, and so if the city can put somewhere an updated map out there, because it's hard. These residents, I feel for them that say, well, the map that we can see certainly has us, you know, and so if there's a new map, we'd love to see that as well.
But that's where Nick not being finished, and now with what we've been waiting on the county, because remember, this was a county-led project. Mm-hmm. We just were a big cheerleader
because it's
for
going through the county, correct?
Correct. And it's going to go through the city. We wanted to be a part of it. We actually contributed $66,000 towards the study for the county. Hopefully we can, since they're not doing the study, we can get those funds back. But sit with Nick. It's got to be more than just on social media or Facebook or the website. Come sit and visit. People deserve individual treatment and discussion, and not over social media, not over text, not over Facebook. Come down, look, and he can show you the improvements to the plan. And if you're concerned about your home, come see it and show us.
And so if I, again, to end point that, if I hear you right, if the plan that you saw goes right over your house, you don't see the new plan, the latest plan.
Correct. And
okay.
This is a long-term project. He's continuing to work, be a part of the solution, and come sit down. We have open doors. We have nothing to hide. We're very transparent. Come sit and visit.
All right, here's a comment here from Facebook. I don't have a question, just a comment. As is a longtime resident of Laporte, over 20 years, and a resident of Grove Street, I want to thank Mayor Dermody for getting rid of the drug houses on the street and other places around town. It's refreshing seeing more children in the neighborhood be able to peacefully ride their bikes and play outside in a much safer neighborhood due to your efforts. Great job.
Well, Paul Breton, Jeff Batchelor, the two of them, Chief of Police and Chief of Code Enforcement, unbelievable. We're not tolerating. We walk door to door at Grove Street. We've walked door to door all over. In fact, I brought Jackie back for a quick lunch last week on Lincoln Way and saw a hand-to-hand transaction of what we believe are drugs and individuals. We're not tolerating. I got right with the police. If you see something, call our police. We will be there. We're going to continue to grow our police department, our public safety teams. We're going to keep our community safe. And whether you're on down at Clear Lake, where the people saw us with the police tow a car out, I have no tolerance for people that don't want to follow the rules in our community. And we are the city of Laporte, and our residents have pride, and they're not accepting of that either.
All right, we're going to take a break and then get back. We've got a caller. We've got a couple texts here. We're going to get to your stuff as soon as we get back. Hey, we've got Mayor Tom Dermody on his monthly show here on the Sound Off Radio Show. Again, if you have a question, the Liquor Vault on-air line is 219-362-0522. You're welcome to call or text me. We're going to take a couple-minute break. We'll be right back here, only on 96.7 The Eagle.
Ben Conowitz here, owner of Laporte Seamless Gutter. My parents started Laporte Seamless Gutter in 1982 with one goal in mind, really. Our customers' 100% satisfaction. And we are still providing the same customer service that Tim and Seal Conowitz started all those years ago. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 219-362-9972, or you can visit us on the web, www.lpseamless.com. 219-362-9972.
The Laporte County 4-H Livestock Auction is coming up on Friday, July 15th, and they invite you to attend and become a buyer this year. New this year is the Buyer's Breakfast at 7, followed by registration at 8, and the auction begins at 9. And remember, it's a win-win for both you and the 4-H kids. So make plans to not only attend this year's auction, but become a buyer as well. If you've got any questions, visit lpfair.com. So what are you waiting for? Become a buyer at this year's Laporte County 4-H Animal Livestock Auction, Friday, July 15th. Hope to see you at the arena.
All makes, all models, all at low auto park pricing at Auto Park Ford in Laporte. Save gas and money in a low-mileage 2019 Ford Escape from only $279 a month. $279. Come find the exact vehicle you've been looking for today. We have a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles. It's not just a dealership. It's an auto park. Auto Park Ford in Laporte. AutoParkFordLaporte.com. 19 Escape 19.9, 500 down, $579 a month, 84 months, 5% APR, plus tax tag title to qualified buyers. 0 down and 0% financing now at Auto Park Ford in Laporte. Brand new F-150s, Explorers, Edge, Expeditions, Mustangs, Escapes, Broncos, and more. 0 down and as low as 0% financing. Choose from over 100 new Fords in stock. Plus, a huge selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. It's not just a dealership. It's an auto park. Auto Park Ford in Laporte. AutoParkFordLaporte.com. 22 Escape, 3540 down, 540 a month, 66 months, 0% APR, plus tax tag title to qualified buyers.
Your forecast on 96.7 The Eagle brought to you by Harmon Expert Auto Service. If you're looking for a local and quality auto repair company, then look no further than Harmon Expert Auto with 2 locations in Laporte, 308 Washington or 111 Brighton Streets. Visit their website at HarmonExpertAutoservice.com or call 325-0444.
Michiana weather.
High of 88 this afternoon under cloudy skies with a chance for scattered storms. Southwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. 67 tonight, chance for scattered thunderstorms. From the Weather Center at HometownNewsNow.com. Right now, 76.
We're waiting to hear from you. Dial or text 362-0522 and let us know what you think. That's 362-0522. Back to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Welcome back, friends. Glad to have you here. We just got about 10 minutes left on the show today. We've got Mayor Tom Dermody in the studio, and we're talking to him about what's happening here in the city of LaPorte. Real quick, a question for you. Is there any hope or any plans maybe of something like what we see in Valparaiso with their community space downtown in LaPorte?
Well, with the old hospital, and again, the hospital owns that property, but with the demolition of that, I've said some type of public spacing gathering spot would be fantastic. I think we also have work to do that Mark Schreiber and the team are working on as well for parking out at the amphitheater, because that's been a great success. I love that over the lake. And then you ask the question, does it make sense to have 2 of them? One downtown, one at the amphitheater out by the lake. And I don't know the right answer to that yet. We've talked about that, but I know we want some type of gathering spot as a part of something bigger that might happen at the old hospital.
I love seeing what South Bend has done with Howard Park renovation and things like that. All right, let's get to a caller here. Hey, thanks so much for listening to the show. Thanks for waiting on the line. What's your question for Mayor Tom Dermody?
Hi, I wanted to ask about the area, kind of close to what you were talking about, across from Dunes Volleyball.
Okay.
Around Clear Lake, that they use, it's undeveloped, they use it for parking, right across from the bridge.
Correct.
The other side. Okay, so are there any plans in the works for that? Because, it's always full. I mean, I don't use it, but I know when I go by there, it's always packed with people parking there. And then after the event, with the fireworks and no parking available, I just thought, well, why not just go ahead and pave it over if it's, if you guys don't have any plans for it. So that was my question, if there are any plans in the works for that particular area.
It is a good question, and one I've thought about as well is Dunes. Again, they attract so many people into LaPorte, which is great, but that whole area is almost full with and so do you just need to accept that that's going to have to be parking?
Not yet. I mean, you can see that land just north of Dunes, and we still see potential development, maybe on the backside of Kroger, some of the manufacturing, small manufacturing there. But there is some potential for development.
All right, let's get to a caller. Hey, thanks so much for calling the show. You got Mayor Tom Dermody here. What's your question for Mayor Dermody?
Am I on there?
Yeah,
yes,
that's
sir.
you. Yep, that's you.
Yeah. Tom, I wanted to know, just out of curiosity, all that contaminated soil that came out of the old Alice Chalmers place.
Correct.
Where was that taken to?
Well, that was shipped 81,000 tons of contaminated material, which is, again, 81,000 tons removed, was taken to I want to say a landfill, and you'd have to ask, and I'll get Nick Minnick, maybe even before we leave here, and I'll get you the response to exactly where.
Are you done?
Yeah, sorry. When I stop, that usually means I'm done.
It's like you're looking at your phone here. Are you do you just want us to wait or something?
No,
this is a live radio show, Mayor Dermody. My word. All right, Mayor, here's a question. Would you please publish the latest plan for the north-south corridor? Our farm is east of 39 Industrial Park and would be impacted by one of the original plans, but don't know which is the current plan. And I do feel for these county residents. They're saying, again, are we for it or are we against it? I don't know where the plan goes. And if the city, most of the county residents I talk to, even those that are not for it, are reasonable, right?
Absolutely.
They're wanting to do that. And so how can they get a hold of this plan then?
I would sit down. Again, it's not our plan, and it looks like after what the commissioners did, there's no plan by the county. So that changes everything just by there. But we're going to continue to work. So please call Nick. He's a great guy to sit down and visit and look at the plan, and we'll see.
Can they email him to get a plan?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So email the city, and hopefully they'll be able to email you a copy of the most recent.
Minnick at cityoflaporte.in.gov.
All right. Let's get to another call. Hey, thanks so much for calling the show. I appreciate you. What's your question for Mayor Tom Dermody?
Is that me out here?
Yep,
Yes,
that's
sir.
you.
Yeah. Mayor Tom, this is Bill.
Bill, how are you?
Okay. I don't want to get in your case. I just want some honest checking on this. First of all, we'd like to see the percentage of trucks. I've lived here for 80 years, the percentage of trucks that just pass through. The average person does not know one truck from the other. And I drive through town daily, 2-3 times. The trucks I see is a furniture truck, food trucks, the McDonald's semi, city trucks going back and forth, dump trucks from Highland School hauling right down Lincoln Way to go to the county offices, your concrete trucks doing construction in Newport Landing. The ordinary person don't know one truck from the other, and honestly, I don't see probably a 2% of the trucks going through town that are over the road and just pass through north, south, east, west. I used to see a lot of steel hauling trucks with these rolls of steel. I never see that anymore. Of course, roll coaters shut down out there, isn't it, or something like that. But, just honestly, we'd like to see a percentage.
All right, thanks so much.
You.
Is there any data, any again, I know there's been consultants paid and stuff like that. Is there any data out there
I'll follow through? And again, without having the document that Lockmuller did for the county, where it shows even the increase in traffic, I'll have to remember, see if there's percentages, but Nick, again, can come here. And by the way, he also mentioned Newton County and county line landfills is where the 81,000 tons of contamination went to. But, we'll have to get that. We'll try to get that information. But again, 8 to 5, the individuals that are saying they only see this amount of trucks, how often are they watching? Because at 11 o'clock, when we did that one interview, we saw roughly 16 over-the-road trucks within those 4 minutes that I was standing there.
Here's a question for you, Mayor Dermody. What's going on with the apartments above the old closed clothing store?
Tommy Very is working on those, and that's still moving forward.
All right. Here's a question. What's going on with the annexation in 39 North? Is the city planning on closing off the water if they don't abide by what the city wants?
Well, again, we're not going to turn the other way. We've offered to improve their water situation so that there is enough water to keep people safe if there's a fire. They paid for an hydrated system. They deserve to have an appropriate hydrated system. We have a meeting on July 20th. I've asked the 39 North board to come before us, speak with us, meet with us, and each of us will ask 5 residents from 39 North to sit as witnesses, and I said no attorneys either way. So we're looking forward to that on July 20th.
All right. Let's get to another caller here. We've got Mayor Tom Dermody in the studio on his monthly Sound Off Radio show time. What's your question for Mayor Dermody?
Mr. Dermody, hey, I met you probably 15 years ago at Springfield Fire Department benefit or breakfast. But anyway, long story short, I would just like to know the apartments that you had built by Clear Lake, are those low income, or you're going to put any low income in Laporte? That was my question. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks so much for calling and
I
listening.
assume you mean the banks.
Yeah, so are those affordable housing or not?
No, and for some reason we got tagged with saying those were going to be affordable. What we are doing is moving forward with the ARP funds to address affordable housing, especially in the triangle area of Harrison, Jefferson, and Maple, like I had mentioned, because that is the highest area of poverty in the county. Not in Michigan City, not anywhere else. It's right here in downtown. So we are addressing that. We've got a housing study. We're partnering, and thank you to Maria Fruth and the Healthcare Foundation of Laporte. But I'll tell you what, the first step we had to do is start addressing a new standard for landlords. And some have been taking advantage of our community for a lot of years, and cleaning those up. And that takes a lot of work. Jeff Batchelor and his 3-person total team have done an amazing job setting the new standard. But that's the first step at moving forward with decent, affordable housing, that we have to address the housing stock we currently have and make sure the standards there are being met.
All right, let's get to one more caller. Hey, thanks so much for calling the show. We've got Mayor Tom Dermody here with us. What's your question for Mayor Dermody?
Good morning. Hello, Mr. Dermody. I got an idea for the Clear Lake area. It's been a real blessing to, if you got an hour or two or something, you got a kiddo and you want to park by the Clear Lake there. It's a real blessing to have that. But I had a couple ideas for that. I mean, I figure, if you've seen the dispensary center there in the back in South Bend, where they got the big concrete place there by the river, where people can read and just sit there with a book or something. I figured it'd be nice to have something like that on the water there. Like a concrete platform there where there's tables where you could have free Wi-Fi or something where people can sit there, read, and get on their computers or whatever. Or you could put the amphitheater on the water. I figured, man, that would be pretty cool if you could put the amphitheater right there on the water, set it out there in the water, and hey, that's my crazy idea.
All right.
I just figured I'd throw that out there to you.
Thank you very much. And if you don't mind, call Mark Schreiber, 326-9600, and call him, talk about this, because we want you not ever having to leave our community, sit, relax, enjoy. And we think we have gems with our natural resources and our lakes as well. Laporte's a special place. It's a great area. And while we have development at some point, other areas are to just relax and enjoy family, nature, and so forth.
Now, you're going to be back on the morning show tomorrow, and I do apologize for that. But if you, I got to get it, my Dennis Siddell. I don't understand why I even jabbed Dennis Siddell, because he's controlling the ones and twos. He could shut me off any minute. I'll give you the final word.
Hey, it's a great summer. Look forward to Lake Fest coming up in 3 weeks. And all my buddies, they get a kick out of the social media stuff and what people are saying. 363-7293 is my cell phone. You can call me direct. We got big shoulders here. You can have and speak honestly if you'd like, and share your concerns. We got a great team that's continuing to move our community forward, and we just think the city of LaPorte residents deserves the best, and we have to fight for them, compete for them, and move forward well beyond when I'll be in office or anybody else. So we're excited here. LaPorte's a special place, so call us with your ideas. Follow us, Tom Dermody, City of LaPorte Facebook page, because something always good is happening in the city of LaPorte.
And again, you will be back on the county's #1 radio show, The Morning Mayhem, tomorrow with Dennis and Joe. Listen again to that. If you have other questions or anything, I'm sure they'll be able to help you out a little bit there. Hey, on Friday, we're going to have Senator Mike Pahachik in the studio, and we're going to talk about their small legislative session coming up. If you have a question for that, we'd love to have you call in for that as well, or you can text me for that. again, you're hopefully this show is helping you be more informed as a citizen. Oftentimes we just talk about voting in November, and we don't talk about the other responsibilities we have to be informed citizens in every other month of the year. So go out with that knowledge and hopefully help other people. Be good to yourself, be good to others. Keep listening to 96.7 The Eagle.
Thank you for joining us and voicing your opinion on this edition of Sound Off. The views on Sound Off are those of the host or callers and do not represent the opinion of 96.7 The Eagle, Spoon River Media LLC, or the sponsors. Sound Off airs every Monday and Friday at 12:30. Please mark your calendar and join us again for the next edition of Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Hi, this is Chris Stapleton.